Guys, welcome to this weekend's homework. I'll go ahead and tell you this may be a long lesson here. I want to make sure you get all this. It's very important. Chapter 3's quiz is Tuesday, test Wednesday. So just follow me through. I am going to show you a lot of things here. My goal for these homework night things is to help you work through the problem. So I'm going to try to do a little bit more of that, maybe even giving you some answers so it benefits you to watch this as well. Now, I will give you a heads up. Coming next week, there is an online quiz contest that we're going to do. This is for both classes together as one group. We have a total of 36 students in AP Statistics. On Chapter 1, our average on the online quiz was an 85.96. In Chapter 2, our average was a 79.35. So again, we're not making the 100 even though we're given the opportunity to do so. So I really need you to take that opportunity, redo the questions, and get it right. This is your grade, and really it shows that you want to succeed. Our goal, on the Chapter 1 quiz, only 29 students took it, so 7 did not. And then on Chapter 2 quiz, 31 took it, so 5 did not. Our goal for the Chapter 3 quiz, we have two goals. Number one, our goal is for all 36 students to attempt the quiz. So I want all 36 students to get there and get that quiz done, whether it means going during your lunch, whether it means going right before school, right after school, whatever you have to do to get that online quiz completed. If you need me to help you register, that's fine as well. And then I want our average score to go up over a 90%. That means retake it if you have to, get your score high. So that's our two goals. Now, if we meet those goals as a full class of 36 students, then we will add to everyone's Chapter 3 test score 3 points. So 3 points added to your test score, and remember your test score counts 50, your tests count 50% of your grade, so we will add those 3 points. Even if you have to retake it, we will add 3 points to the Chapter 3. So whatever Chapter 3 test score you end up with at the end of Chapter 3, 3 points will get added to that if we meet both goals. Number one, everyone takes the quiz, and number two, we average a 90 or above. And I'm talking about your highest score, so really we should average 100. But right now I'm going to set our goals a little lower. But let's make sure you tell your friends, tell everybody in class, make sure you all buy in to do this online quiz. It's due Tuesday night at midnight, and we'll really succeed there. Okay, I'm going to start on this. Number 38. That's where we stopped in class. Second period, we actually got to this, so you'll see this already. But number 38 talks about gas consumption. It actually gives us the prediction equation, but then it wants to show how you find the prediction equation. I did look on the Chapter 3 test. You will have to do one like this where you have to find A and B given all these things. So basically to find A and B, which is the prediction equation, and if we remember, the prediction equation is y hat equals A plus B x. So basically we're missing A and B. Now in this, we find B, and then from B we can get A. But what do we need first? We need the mean of x, the mean of y, standard deviation of x, and the standard deviation of y, and the r. Now how we get the mean of x, mean of y, standard deviation of x, and standard deviation of y comes from table 3.1, which is all the way back at the beginning of Chapter 3. It's on page 127. The degree days will go in for x, and the gas will go in for y. So you'll type those into your calculator, and I'm going to type them in now. And once you have typed those in your calculator, instead of a one variable stat, we will go to a two variable stat. And the reason for that is pretty simple. The reason for that is because you want to see two variables, and the two variables are the x and the y. Now we were just dealing with putting stuff in L1, so it was just one variable, but now we're putting stuff in both, so we're going to look at two variables and calculate it. Now we get 4 of these things from this calculation. We get x bar, which is 22.3125. we get the standard deviation of x, which is 17.74, will be fine. We get y bar, if we scroll down, which is 5.30625, and we get the standard deviation of y, which is 3.37. So we get all 4 of those things just from two variable stats. Now we need to get the r. Well, as long as we have the diagnostic turned on our calculator, when we do stat calc 8, it will give us an R at the bottom, and for this one it was 0.995. Okay, now to calculate B, we do R, which is 0.995, times SY, so standard deviation of Y, which is 3.37, divided by SX, 17.74. Now, when we type that in our calculator, we get that the B should be, and let me check to make sure, but the B should be 0.1890 equals 0.1890. Okay, we then take that to get A, so the mean of Y, 5.30625, minus the 0.1890 times the mean of X, which is 22.3125. From that, we can get A, and that's 5.30625 in the calculator, minus 0.1890 times 22.3125, and that gives you an A of 1.0892. And notice they're rounding to about 4 decimal places now is where they're rounding. So that's a little bit more than what you're used to, 4 decimal places, but that is where we want to go with these questions. And that takes you through question 38. All right, now question 30, so let me get back to where I was at. Question 38. So what we did was verify that we got the original equation and how we got it. Okay. Question 39. If you previously plotted a scatter plot for the ordered pairs of SAT math scores and verbal scores in Activity 3, then ask yourself, did these data describe a linear trend? If so, then use your calculator to determine the least squares regression line and overlay this regression line, and is the line useful? What they wanted you to show was that the data in 39, verbal and math, it was, okay, there are a lot of people who are very smart, and yes, they have a high math and a high verbal score. There are also people that are not very smart and have a low math and a low verbal score. In the middle, it kind of varies. So the correlation would have been moderate and positive is what you would say about it. The line would be useful in predicting, but it wouldn't be great to predict. So we didn't have data there, but just think about SAT math and verbal, and if you think one can predict the other, and give me some reasons why it may not be the best prediction. Okay. Number 40, researchers are studying acid rain measured in a Colorado wilderness for 150 consecutive weeks. It's measured by pH. The lower pH values mean it is a higher acidity. The acid rain researchers observed a linear pattern over time. They gave the least squares regression line. So it gives you a least squares regression line in the form y hat equals a plus bx. And if we keep it in that form, which we will, then that is y hat equals 5.43 minus 0.0053x. That's the form. Okay. A, draw a graph of this line. Is the association positive or negative? So in y equals, you can draw the graph of that line and sketch it. Explain in plain language what the association means. So if it is a positive association, what does that mean? And again, that should mean that they are, so explain it from the x and the y, what that means in this problem specifically. Okay. B, according to the regression line, what was the pH at the beginning of the study in week 1? So to find out what the pH was in week 1, plug 1 in for x, and it will give you what it should have been in week 1. What about what it was at the end in week 150? Plug 150 in for x and see what your answer is there. Those the answers are those. And then C, what is the slope of the regression line? Remember, your slope is what is with your x. And then explain clearly, what does the slope say about the change in pH of the precipitation? Now for 1, I can see it's negative. So what does it mean if it's negative What does that mean happened over time? Look from week 1 to week 150. As you start putting numbers in for x, what happens if you have a negative slope over time with the pH values? All right, that takes you 38 through 40, and we go to the next.